Tigers can say, we are champions.
Go Tigers! Go Tigers!
Hello and welcome into Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, joined as always by the Bud Man, Buddy Songy. We're here at Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. A great place to come, get out of the heat. Great food at old school prices. Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. LSU takes home their 7th national title in baseball, making that 11 national titles for LSU. This past weekend in Omaha, LSU takes care of business. 2 out of 3 games against Florida. Coach Kevin O'Sullivan's team, thought they could handle the Tigers. They put up 24 runs on Sunday, but the final game was the final game for the Tigers. Put up 18 of their own. 18-4 was the final. 24 hits, a College World Series record for the LSU Tigers. Of course, Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, Cade Beloso, Trey Morgan, the whole crew get to walk off as champions. Welcome in the Bud Man. Great to see you, Bud Man, on a Tuesday afternoon.
It is hot in the capital city, and what a special 10 days or so, folks. Look, when you watch baseball, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 straight nights, nerve-wracking. Everybody I saw, it didn't matter the bank, the store, wherever, driving me crazy, Bud. This is killing me. The suspense, on the edge of your seat, and they find a way to make all the right decisions. Oh, by the way, a friend of mine watches us, and last week saw our sunglasses. Come on, Ann and Chico Moore, get it together. You're a great couple. But when LSU loses, we have a tendency to wear the sunglasses. Of course, they had lost to Wake Forest on that Monday night game, a tough game, 3-2. And then they came back, JP, and we kind of broke the story on the show. Yep. Ackenhausen was going to get the ball, and the hefty lefties, how about the hefty lefties, what they did
Incredible.
In Omaha. Not only Ackenhausen, not only Riley Cooper, but the feel-good New Orleans story in Cade Beloso. Tiger fans, you got to have a lot of great pride. You got to have a feel-good, and hopefully for those of you who are under the weather or fighting illness or whatever, this kind of gave you a little pep in your walk and your attitude, because that was something special to get beat 24-4 and then to come back and just put a butt kicking on O'Sullivan in Florida, 18-4, as you alluded to. 7 natties, first one for Jay Johnson. And are you seeing a pattern? Kim Mulkey in year 2, natty. Jay Johnson in year 2, natty. Brian Kelly coming up in year 2. Let's not jump the gun yet, but he's getting there, and he will get there sooner or later.
Yeah.
So good to see you, my friend.
And, of course, all the star power that you could ever want was in this College World Series. All 3 of the top 3 picks of the draft were there in Wyatt Langford and Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens. 1, 2, or 3, whatever way they're going to go, they're all going to go the top 3. And they were all featured in this College World Series final, and didn't get to see Paul Skeens against Florida, even though he's ready to go if LSU needed him last night, Monday night, in that final. Coach Jay Johnson said he would have been good for around 30 pitches and didn't want to bring Skeens in to start and then give Florida a possible shot in the arm when he brought him out after those 30 pitches. So he was going to save him for like a 3-run lead in the 8th, Coach Johnson said, but it never came to fruition. The cameras did find Paul Skeens when he went down to the bullpen, was getting his gear out of his bag. And
he was ready to go for a while, but he did say unless it got to be 5, LSU extended the lead. But there's a couple of plays in that game last night that I had a couple of people mention. First and foremost, I'm one to constantly bitch and moan and complain about umpiring. And I thought after that travesty with Casey Moiser, who cheated LSU out of that game, ever since then, I think balls and strikes have been relatively good. But JP, there is a ball, a swing and bunt ball, where Trey Morgan went to get the ball, then went to cover first, and they called him out because he ran out the base path. I got to be honest with you. That call could have gone either way. Yep. And if Florida gets that call, they could have put a little cricket number there, but only two. And then once Dylan Cruz and the bats heated up, but Thatcher Hurd, the skinny on him is you better get him early because he's real good. Can you believe 6 innings out of Thatcher Hurd? And, of course, 1 inning out of the round mound of Amanda, Smoked Sausage, NIL, Riley Cooper. Give that guy a sausage po' boy, a roast beef sandwich. What's your favorite? Hey, how many boss hogs should we be serving up over here with those guys?
Yep.
And then, of course, Gavin Guidry to come in and close it out, not even need schemes. But when they put the 6 up there in the second inning, made it 6-2, you felt good. But then when Thatcher Hurd started getting them out, you started to believe. 10-2, you knew that they were not going to blow the lead. And then, as a lot of people I've talked to, savoring after all those close one-run, crazy, nerve-wracking wins, to have one where you can pop your feet back up and smoke your cigar, your cigarette, or you take your drink or whatever. Look, you saw Dylan Cruz, I don't know if you heard this, had a box of cigars in the locker room before the game, and they knew what was going on. So Joe Burrow, the first one to point to the ring finger. Angel Reese made it cool in 2023. And Dylan Cruz, the first one to do it after his triple. Great to see him have an opportunity to show all of his skills, running, not only hitting, but covering. Oh, man, great. So great guys, well-deserved, and kudos to everybody involved, and kudos to the fans. That reminded me of a tiger getting his claws and his mouth into a gator, and once he put the teeth in there at 6'2", he wasn't going to let go, JP.
Take our first break of the evening. We'll come back, talk some more LSU baseball, more College World Series. Coach Jay Johnson brings home the title in year 2 as the head coach of LSU baseball. That and a whole lot more here on Tigers Roar. We return from our first break here on Pelican Sports TV.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
You could be driving a Honda.
Improved from the front grille to the tailgate and equipped to take you on the adventure of a lifetime, the ride is just different in this new Pilot seat. Come see the all-new 2023 Honda Pilot, now on sale at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Seagan Lane.
desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every one.
We continue here on Tigers Roar. Jonathan Poche and the Budman Buddy Songy from Old School Barbecue talking LSU baseball, the NCAA College World Series. The finale was this past weekend. LSU takes home their 7th title in program history. Outstanding job by Coach Jay Johnson in year 2 to get his guys to believe all season. Remember, Budman, preseason #1. They were ranked first 12 straight weeks in the season. Didn't lose a series until then. And kind of teetered off a little bit that SEC tournament, Budman. Bounced back in a big way in the postseason behind Paul Skeens, their big ace on the mound. 6'5", 6'6", throwing 102 miles an hour, Budman. He definitely caught the attention of the national media. He's going to go 1, 2, or 3 in the MLB draft coming up here. I would agree with Budman, going to be #1. We're going to talk some LSU baseball.
Cruise 2.
We're going to talk some LSU, Wake Forest, and what would be one of the biggest home runs in LSU history. I can only think of one greater, possibly, than Warren Morris. In the College World Series, bottom of the 11th inning, Tommy White in a tie ball game 0-0 launches a ball to the bullpen in left center. LSU walks it off. But man, can you remember a bigger home run outside of Warren Morris than Tommy Tank's walk-off in the 11th inning?
Well, let me say this about the game. That is the best college baseball game and most well-played game that I have ever seen LSU with another team. 0-0 after 9, and Rhett Lauder is going to go top 10. Paul Skeens, I think, is going to go 1 to Pittsburgh. I think Cruz is going to go 2 to Washington. And Langford, as you said, is really good.
Yep.
For Florida, their center field will probably go 3. But the way that game was played, I don't know if I've ever seen a game played as crisp and as good as that one. And back to the home run. Look, Warren Morris, we've had Warren on the show many times, and that will forever go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, single play because it determined a national championship.
Yep.
That being said, Tommy Tanks White. Now, let's make sure that people realize there were a lot of stars, but to get that dinger and put LSU in a situation so they could win another natty, that was phenomenal. Oh, by the way, the Josh Pearson catch in the first game against Florida that went into extra innings, great. Ty Floyd with 17 strikeouts, unbelievable. We can go on and on. Cade Beloso with the 3-run jack. I mean, so many heroes and so much fun. And I'm telling you, I've never seen so many people just get gripped, tingling. I mean, people pacing.
Yep.
I don't text during games, and so obviously my phone's blowing up, and I'm going like, sorry, I'm going to text you after the game. It was something, and this 10-day period is something none of us are going to forget anytime soon.
Well, the College World Series certainly delivered this year. I mean, not always do you have so many exciting games coming down to one-run victories. The games being decided by 1 run. The anticlimactic 24-4, 18-4, it kind of overshadows, which was an outstanding College World Series. A lot of close games, my man.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what. Omaha will adopt Baton Rouge and Louisiana in a second. Here we go. Here are highlights from last night. And JT, Jordan Thompson,
exactly.
Good story because he stunk it up there most of the series.
Yeah, 1 for the series, and a lot of fans were getting at him this past Sunday, asking Coach to sit him down, but Coach stuck with him, had faith, and here's Pearson hitting a long ball. That was a rocket that got out. Josh Pearson also struggled a lot during the College World Series, but had a good game. Happy for Pearson. You mentioned the ball he caught in left field against the Gators in the first game of the series. That ball was hit 112 miles an hour off the bat, Bud, man. An absolutely scorched rocket. And he didn't catch that. LSU doesn't win that game. So, yeah, you mentioned it. Great catch by Pearson, keeping LSU in the game, and that's what allowed LSU to win that one late.
Tigers showed up in purple jerseys and changed into the canary yellow, which we call gold. Of course, he's taking a low fastball and taking it out of the park. Braden Jobert did the same thing later on. But as you alluded to, 18-4, biggest margin and number of runs in a championship game, and most hits with 24. And here's Dylan Cruz, and this is what I really like. Just watch this young man run, and you will see him point to the finger for the ring when he gets up right here, mimicking Joe Burrow and Angel Reese. Let me see it, Dylan. Well, they panned away from it, but I'm sure you will go back and see it. But great to see that young man who has not had that many clutch hits as far as like Tommy White and Beloso, but man, he's been there, and we talked about it. Going to go down as the best position player of all time at LSU. There it is, the ring. Give me the ring. And Skeens, without a doubt, the best pitcher of all time at LSU, even though it's only 1 year.
So that triple was the top of the 8th, and a lot of people thought that might be Dylan Cruz's last at-bat as a Tiger. He did smoke the triple. Here's Braden Jobert going deep over the bullpen. That was a shot. Joe Bomb, as they call it.
How about that stroke, huh? Yeah. That is pretty when he connects. Now, he's ugly when he strikes out. Oh, by the way, there was one more hit and one more run, 18-24. You think, look, I enjoyed every minute of it, and we know that Florida took it away from LSU in 17 when Eric Walker got hurt. So this was poetic justice for a great group of guys, but can't say enough about the coaches and the players and everybody involved in the team.
Great pitching, all College World Series, especially from that bullpen that had a lot of questions leading into the College World Series. But outside of that fluke game, the 24 runs they gave up on Sunday, LSU had the best bullpen at the College World Series, the best ERA, the fewest runs allowed, and the lowest batting average. So let's go over the numbers. Thatcher Hurd, 6 innings pitched, 7 Ks, 2 earned runs. Then came Riley Cooper, only had the 1 inning as he was feeling under the weather, but had the 1 earned run. And Gavin Guidry came in the final 2 innings, had the 2 Ks. And here you see the dog pile. No greater feeling in the world.
Watch Paul Skeens now. Paul Skeens is there. He is right there. He's going to jump up, but he's not going to get crazy. And, of course, he piggybacked to Alex Milazzo on his back. Yeah. Milazzo, that's the fastest I've ever seen him run from first base.
So, your heart kind of breaks for Milazzo scoring from first on a ball that he was truly hustling out the gate on. Crazy play at the plate, tries to jump over the catcher, lands awkwardly on the very smooth, very slippery home plate, breaks a bone in the lower leg. I heard it was a shin fracture at first. Don't want to speculate, but Milazzo.
It's broken leg, tibula or fibula. I forgot which one he said afterwards. But look, Travinsky played hurt all year. Yep. Gavin Dugas played hurt all year. Great story for Cade Beloso to come back. And Jay Johnson has had to do the same thing Kim Mulkey and Brian Kelly have had to do, and that is change the culture in the locker room. You cannot have a prima donna. You can't have a me guy. If you hadn't heard it say it before, team, the acronym is together, everyone accomplishes more. And that was one hell of a team. And you can tell those guys love each other.
Oh, yeah.
They trust each other.
Oh, yeah.
And even somebody mentioned this morning in a little meeting. She said, the Florida people, they were high-fiving, but they just didn't seem like they were into it like the LSU team. And when you knew they had the 24-4, look, LSU was burning innings. And what a highlight for some of those guys to get a chance to pitch in Omaha.
Yep.
But that all being said, this is what movies are made all about.
That's right. We'll let you guys hear from the players. Here's a post-game press conference. A few of the guys you might know, Jordan Thompson, shortstop for LSU, junior. I loved how the LSU fans gave him the curtain call at the game. Jordan Thompson chants. He certainly deserves it. The guy that played 3 years at shortstop, struggled last season defensively, but had a lot of big hits and kind of flip-flopped it this season. Was very strong defensively. Did hit the wall well early in the season, but struggled towards the end there. Then he made 2 big errors against Florida in that Marble game. So happy for Jordan Thompson to bounce back. He certainly felt the love. Of course, Dylan Cruz, Mr. Everything for LSU, Thatcher Hurd, and the what do they call him? The Parish Bambino, Mr. Cade Beloso. Here they are, 4 players from the LSU national championship team in their post-game press conference here on Tigers Roar.
Dylan, you told me at the beginning of the season that you wanted to leave LSU a legend, bring home a national championship, win the Golden Spikes Award. You just did all of those things. So what does it feel like to accomplish the things you set out to do?
Yeah, man, it's such a great feeling. I felt like almost every box was checked off except that national championship box. And we all knew this was going to be our last game here. And, to finally say that I'm a national champion, it's the greatest feeling in the world. And, I feel like all the boxes are checked off now, so it's good.
Okay. Back here with Michael.
Michael Farrar with Bird Sports Network. For all 3 athletes, could you guys kind of talk about what was going through your mind when the final out was out and the dog pile and the celebration?
There are 4 up here,
There are 4, I'm sorry.
Oh, talking about him, right?
Jordan, you start.
I'm short, I can't see.
Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I got the first 2 ground balls of the inning, and after I got that second out, I kind of looked at Gavin and, almost started tearing up, but knowing that we have to get one more out, I wanted that last ball too. But, I just can't be more proud of my guys in the way that we've came out all year and just competed and fought through adversity. When guys went down, guys stepped up. That just speaks about the character about our team and the way that, we just handle our business and own our deal every single day. So, it is very rewarding for what we were able to accomplish, not only tonight, but the whole season.
Thatcher.
Yeah, I mean, that is the greatest feeling in the world. And, it's being a national champion, but it's with who we did it with. Every single guy right here and every guy in that locker room. It means everything.
Dylan.
Yeah, man. I think we were all fighting for that last out. The greatest feeling in the world. We've had some tough days. In the fall, long days, just grinding it out. We call it 2-a-days, where we literally sleep at the field and train twice a day. And looking back, I wouldn't trade anything for those moments right there, because this is where we're at now. This is the reason why we did all that stuff, and it's just a great feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a different perspective, being in the dugout on that last out, but just hearing the crowd, finally starting to realize what's happening, and you're looking over in the dugout and you're seeing so many smiling faces, and I'm holding Sammy Dutton in my arm, and he's just so happy, and watching that last strikeout is just, you can't put a price tag, you can't put any feelings, words into that. Like, it's so exciting, and it's so the sense of gratification. That's awesome, and it's everything we work for.
Let's go here with Aaron.
Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. Cade, you said the other day that you grew up wanting to be Mikey Matuk and Ryan Schimpf and Jared Mitchell. What does it make you feel to realize that now kids are going to be growing up wanting to be Cade Beloso?
That's pretty cool. I'd want to be like this guy to the left of me, these 2 guys. But set a goal and achieve it. We have a saying around here, don't dream, because if you dream about it, it seems almost unreachable. But set a goal and reach it, and, the sky's the limit. And, it feels really good to be Mikey Matuk and, Jared Mitchell, Ryan Schiff, Sean Ochenko now. That's something that no one can take away from us being national champions.
Koki.
Dylan, were you the one who started the ring gesture, and was that an idea you sort of had heading into this game if you guys were up ahead, or what was the deal there?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I thought about it for sure. I saw Joey B do it and Reese do it, so I thought I had a good moment to do it right there in the 8th inning, and did it, and then I think Tommy did it and Trey, so it's going to be a good picture, so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Okay, we got Wilson here.
For Cade, Jay's saying that he had a meeting with you and things are going to change. How did this program change over the last 2 years? Like, in what ways?
this guy he loves baseball so much, and there's not a person in the room that cares more about LSU, cares more about the game of baseball, more about people than this guy sitting to the right of me. And this program's so lucky to have Coach Shea Johnson, and they're going to have to build a new intimidator for what he's about to do, and he's coming. He's not stopping. I promise that. But it's just the culture changed, and we don't really like to throw around the word culture, but we're a group of hardworking guys that are never going to stop, and always going to just keep playing, through good things, bad things, etc. I think that's what changed the most.
Okay, we'll go here with Lee.
Thatcher, the offense put up a couple of big innings early on in the game when you were out there. How did that help you calm down?
Yeah, I mean, when the offense is producing like that, my job is to get them back in the dugout as quick as possible, and that feels suffocating for the other team. So just kind of telling myself, don't give them an inch. That's what I was telling myself throughout the whole outing. Get us back, let them do their thing.
Glenn.
Yeah, this can be for all four players. Just when you guys are looking at this thing 20 years from now, I know you might not be able to put it into full perspective, but just what do you think this 2023 team is going to mean to you guys?
Cade, you start.
It's going to be the world. It's going to mean the world to me. To leave LSU a national champion is something I remember for the rest of my life. And I'm going to remember playing with this guy and the two next to me. And it's just going to be every time we see each other, you're going to remember the national championship. You remember, hugging at the end. You're not going to remember what happened in each game along the way. Like, this guy got a hit, this guy punched him out. It's just, man, we really enjoyed being around each other every day. And, I'm kind of sad that the season's over in a sense. Like, we just won the national championship, but, I'm sad we're not going to be able to practice and play anymore and stuff like that. But, man, I'm looking forward to those reunions for sure.
Dylan.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun reunion for sure. It was a struggle of mine, as a young kid to kind of be where my feet are. I was always looking ahead, into the future. But when I stepped in the locker room this year and saw all the talent and all the group of guys that we had, I thought it was, my last year, it's so important for me to be where my feet are, enjoy these moments, and to go out on top, a national champion, and to cap off my career and it's just it's an unbelievable feeling.
Thatcher.
The talent really, speaks for itself, but the leadership and the chemistry in the clubhouse, I'll forever cherish that, and that's the blueprint for a winning team. The things Cade Beloso, Gavin Dugas, Hayden Travinsky, veteran leaders were able to do for us. As a transfer, I didn't know anyone coming in, take me under the wing right away. Dylan leading by example, Jordan taking charge in the infield, Paul Skeens leading the staff. That type of leadership is really special, and I'll cherish that. And I've grown so much by playing with these three, playing for Coach and Paul, and the list goes on. It's really special.
Jordan.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to probably remember us because of this national championship, and I think for me, the greatest honor that I've had being at LSU and playing shortstop here for 3 years is, being able to go to battle with these guys every single day, practice, workouts, early mornings, days where you're tired but nobody cares. And, those are things that you can't trade for the world. And, I just can't be more blessed and grateful for the opportunity that we all had to be together and to be able to share this moment. It's something that I'll always remember.
Leah.
Jordan, you had kind of struggled a little bit in this tournament, and then you had a big day at the plate today. Coach was saying how you were going to be a great story. So what was kind of your mindset going into today, and did you kind of feel the crowd rooting for you?
Yeah, I did hear them. I thought that was pretty cool. And I think coming into the day, we all knew that, this was going to be the last game of the season, no matter if we won or lost. And, we just really wanted to leave it all on the line and, not give an inch. So I think not only for myself, but everyone just came out here ready to go. I mean, from the moment that we all woke up and saw each other in the morning when we had our team meeting, like we knew what we wanted to do today, and we knew what it was going to take for us to be able to accomplish it. So, I just can't be prouder of my guys.
And that was Jordan Thompson, Thatcher Hurd, Dylan Cruz, and Cade Beloso. Their post-game press conference taking home their program's 7th national title in baseball. Congratulations to those LSU Tigers. But many can really tell just by listening to those four guys, talk at the podium. This team truly, the players loved one another. I mean, they played for one another. They rooted for one another. No ego through the door. You know, if a guy wasn't producing, another guy had to step up. That's what had to happen to win baseball games. And this is a very tight group, and Coach Jay Johnson did a great job with that.
LSU has already been active in the transfer portal. They have a relief pitcher coming from Alabama. They've got an excellent lefty, Justin Lower, coming from Xavier. They've got an infielder coming from South Carolina. I would project and predict that there will be more pitchers coming in, possibly one even from Air Force. And speaking of Air Force, I had so many people that would argue with me. Paul Skeens looks like he's 25 or 30. Paul Skeens just turned 21 the end of May. And basically, he showed those guys how to work. You talk about him and Cruz and all those guys, and look, Jordan Thompson said a mouthful there. It's not easy in the summer. It's not easy when you're tired. It's not easy when you're out there working all those hours. And it all came to fruition with the culmination of a great championship series. Look, I don't know if I've ever seen so many people invested, fired up, and just gripped by that those outcomes. And of course, this is special. Kudos to Skip Bertman. Skip Bertman obviously was a go-to guy for Jay Johnson for advice, and I really think the key, JP, and I told boss man Alan Traylor that when Jay Johnson was so wound up, remember I sent the Boudreaux's butt paste over, a case of Boudreaux's butt paste over to LSU baseball. His butt was that tight. But once it got out that Wes Johnson was in fact going to be the head coach at Georgia, I think it lifted a lot of pressure off of Jay. And you know this, teams play and live up to that personality and personality traits of the head coach. And from there, it was all. But, man, he was uptight there for a week or so. Wes Johnson, good luck at Georgia.
Yep.
But Jay Johnson made all the right moves. Yep. And as you alluded to in this segment, bullpen was fantastic, other than that one game against Florida with the 24-4 loss.
We'll take another quick break here on Tigers Roar. Don't forget to check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. While you're at the page, click the like button, click the subscribe button so you're notified every time we post something new there on the YouTube page. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Another quick break. We'll come back here from head coach Jay Johnson, his post-game press conference after the national championship victory, bringing LSU their 7th national title in baseball. He's the Bud Man. I'm Jonathan Poche, and you are watching Tigers Roar right here on the Pelican.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
You could be driving smooth handling and smart interior styling. Just 2 reasons why the all-new Honda CR-V was once again named a Car and Driver's 10 Best Trucks and SUV list. Come see your new CR-V today at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun, too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
Caught spiders. past services.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonCountryClub.com.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. LSU baseball took them 71 games, but they bring home their 7th national title in program history. 54 wins on the year, Bud, man. They took a team photo after every win. 54 times they gathered together, and last night was the last one as LSU takes home the championship, defeating Florida 18-4. It was kind of anticlimactic because the College World Series was so great the whole time, so many close games. But LSU gets it done. Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, Kay Beloso, and the whole crew, they get a national title. National champion Dylan Cruz. It was one of the boxes he wanted to check, Bud, man. Took home the Golden Spikes Award. National champion. Now he moves on to the major leagues. Going to be in the top 3. You think he's going to be 2? I have to agree with you. I don't know how you pass up a Paul Skeens, number 1 overall for Pittsburgh. But
by the way, when Jay Johnson was first hired here, Jay came on the radio show a bunch, and obviously – let's give credit to Paul Maneri. He did get Dylan Cruz. He did get Kate Beloso. He did get a lot of these guys over here to set the table. Jay Johnson has said on numerous occasions, one of the reasons he did come because he wanted to coach Dylan Cruz for 2 years. But I compared Jay Johnson favorably to a happier Nick Saban. Kim Mulkey, Nick Saban, Brian Kelly, Jay Johnson, incredible attention to detail. We're talking about working morning, noon, and night. Let's give it up for his wife and family. This is a pressure cooker to be the head baseball coach in Baton Rouge. Everybody expects you to get to Omaha every year. He embraced all of that, learned about the SEC the first year, but I thought he was fantastic down the stretch. And, of course, Coach Mulkey, interviewed by Matt Trent last night on Channel 2 in the postgame, talked about the players. Yeah, you got to have players, but you have to have players that, A, will run through a wall for you, B, believe you know what you're doing, and C, make you look smart. And I tell you what, you throw away the 24-4 game, and that's as good as it gets for LSU in Omaha. And the city of Omaha, I don't know if they total the economic impact, but it is in the millions, and I'm not talking Jell-O shots.
That's right, but man, speaking of Jell-O shots, I mean, just in Jell-O shots, I mean, that money is given to charities, local food banks, but over $350,000 LSU fans and corporate sponsors raised with Rocco's just on Jell-O shots, and that money will be used for good uses. So, yeah, when LSU fans commit to something, they dominate it, and they certainly dominated that Jell-O shot competition. And you know, Git Gordon was down there. Todd Graves bought a whole bunch. So it was a family affair. And Coach Jay Johnson, you mentioned his wife. She certainly sacrificed a lot to allow Coach Johnson to chase his dreams. Excuse me. And this past Monday, his dreams came true for him and LSU. We'll let you guys hear from head coach Jay Johnson. Here is his post-game press conferences from Monday night after LSU took home their 7th national title in baseball.
You know, the 3 in the 8th, when we scored 3 in the 8th, I felt like, you know, the wind was out of their sails, and you could kind of see the pressing in some of their at-bats. was taking them out of their plan, and we were able to just keep piling up quick outs. Like after 3, I didn't think we would get Thatcher through 6, but we started to separate there and made it 10-2, and then he got a couple quick innings. That made a huge difference. I mean, Riley had 1 inning in him, and at a 10-2 lead right there, I felt like we could get a quick 7th. And then it's Gavin, and then Paul's begging me to pitch the 9th, and I'm like, absolutely not. I'm like, if they get within 5, we'll get you up and throwing. But it's not coach speak or anything. Like, we really go through these assessments with them in terms of his hips, his back, his lower half, all of those things. So his body is a great delivery. He needed to be able to stay in his delivery. So we had to test all of those stuff, obviously test his arm. And then we felt like if we needed him, we would have had him for 30 pitches tonight. Then it became a decision of when do you use those 30 pitches? And I felt like we would have given Florida a shot in the arm had I started him, thrown 2 innings, and then taken him out of the game. And I didn't want to do that. And I felt like, with a 3-run lead in the 8th, and they see him trot out there, the psychological help that would have been for our team would have been enough to finish a close game.
Yep. Okay, right there.
Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV in Baton Rouge. Coach, you shared a very special moment with Jordan Thompson after the game, and I guess the last 24 hours and what he's been through, and to have the game he had tonight. Just your thoughts on that?
Yeah, see, we go way back. I mean, way back before any of this LSU stuff. When he was a 15-year-old kid, I was trying to recruit him to Arizona as a pitcher. I mean, and I remember walking him by at a tournament. He had just picked LSU over Arizona, and he just looked and he kind of went go like this, and I shake my head and I said, "I'm still mad at you. I'm still mad at you." It's a great family. Cole Holland, his high school coach at Helix High School, is a good friend of mine as well, and. So, I mean, there's a lot of history there before me taking the job. As I mentioned with Dylan, knowing Jordan was here for at least a couple years, that was an appeal to it. Then last year, I mean, the guy got so many big hits, but he made so many errors at the beginning of the season. Nobody paid any attention to how important a player he was for our team. And it pissed me off a little bit, to be honest with you. It pissed me off, frankly, because we wouldn't have even been in a regional last year if it wasn't for Jordan Thompson. And then we went to work. I mean, every day, August 21st on, like the first day of school, we had skill instruction with infield defense. And I'm really proud of the season that he had. And he had a tough tournament until tonight. I mean, he got way outside of himself at the plate. And but there was no way we were going to take the defense out because the defense had been so good. And then he made 2 errors yesterday, and they were really simple. I mean, he came out of his fundamentals on the double play ball by trying to do too much, and then he tried to do too much and get the guy at third base. And so if you just identify them for what they are and then coach them through it, I mean, there was never any thought of taking them out. And in the last 24 hours, just kind of, my wife's asking me, "Is Jordan okay?" and this and that, and not really knowing all of it. And so I just brought him into my room this morning and go "Hey man, we're winning the national championship tonight, and you're going to do something special. But is there anything I can do to help you get to that point tonight?" And he looked me in the eye and said, "I'm good." And I saw tonight happen before it happened.
Okay, Leah.
Jay, this team was number 1 for 12 straight weeks. It's not a question that they got this far, but this team had to play with its back against the wall this entire tournament. Is there an underdog mindset that kind of sets in, or, how do you kind of push through that?
Yeah, I don't think there was any underdog thought with this team. I think, we tried to take the number 1 thing and turn it to our advantage. I mean, everybody was asking me about pressure and expectations, and what you don't understand is it always comes back to the play and always comes back to the preparation, things you've heard me say a million times. I don't just say that. We actually believe it. And, I get choked up when I look at Cade and just watching the tournament that he had and just thinking about where he was, where we got him. Then he got hurt, missed a season, stayed with it, had to, beg him to come back. Not beg him, but, recruit him to come back and not move on with his life. And then to have that tournament, we're not the national champions without him. So those things happen, all the time. And a big thing for us as we were going through this is, great teams play near their capability often. And I talked about staying in character a lot. And again, those are not just words. That's what we had to do. And if we did that, then I could surrender the result because I had so much confidence in what the result could be. And maybe the one time was when we lost a tough game to Wake Forest the other night. I mean, I thought they would looked a little down. And so, I grabbed them and just, tried to rally them. And then before we left, it's like, hey, we're not asking you to do something that hasn't been done here. I've coached a team that's done it, okay? And LSU has done it before. So, and neither of those teams were as good as this team. Now, we had a tall order when you're looking at Drew Beam in Tennessee, and then 2 games against Wake Forest and Rhett Lauder. That's impressive. This NCAA, the national championship means more because of who we beat to win the national championship.
Okay, Koki.
Coach, what do you remember about the process of putting this team together this past offseason, and what were those sort of hours and days like, and what was going through your head through the whole time?
Yeah, I think we looked at last year's team, and I'm really proud of, part of me will feel like this national championship is for 2022 also. We really had to dig our heels in. I mean, in the SEC, it happens fast. But it was a 9th place team. It was a 9th place team in 2021 in the SEC. And, we worked really, I knew there were some good young players, obviously. And we worked really hard to develop those guys. But we just didn't have enough on the mound. Guys have been hurt. I think it was Marceau and Jaden Hill were moving on in the draft. We didn't have a rotation. Thank God Mikhail Hilliard came back to school and flipped, 70-mile-an-hour curveballs in there, and we were able to win enough games to, have a 40-win season. But I just didn't want to be in that position, again, and felt like the pieces were here. With the position player group was a national championship team last year. I mean, it's very similar, to be honest with you. But we had to get better on the mound, and we did. And I think back of, the week the College World Series started last year. I flew to Colorado Springs and met with Paul. I flew from there to California and met with Thatcher. I flew from there to Missouri and met with Christian. And I flew from there to Tampa to meet with Tommy the next week. They all came on campus, except for Paul. We had to wait for Team USA to be over, so called Paul every day of the summer. And then we got him on board. And, knowing that we were pairing all of those guys with the strides that some of these guys had made in 1 year's time, we felt pretty good about what this was going to be. And they were very humble about it, too. This league's a beast. And so to beat Kentucky in a super regional, to beat Tennessee twice here, to beat Florida to win a national championship, that's really meaningful, because it's one thing to have, the best writers in the country write about you, how great you are. It's another thing, entirely different thing to go do it on the field.
Yeah.
Glenn West, Go 247. Jay, this core that you guys are going to be losing, obviously, after this year, you just talk about what it means, I guess, for the future of the program to kind of have some of these guys that have meant so much and kind of developed a legacy here for what you want to build going forward.
Yeah, I think it's coaching, and I think looking at the past few College World Series champions. And just looking at this tournament, there's 2 things, and I said this the other day. You can't be here anymore without future Major League players on your roster. It's not happening. I mean, I don't know a ton about Oral Roberts because they were on the other side of the bracket. I'm sure there's a couple big leaguers on that team. And then you have to have old players that really know what they're doing. I think I'm excited about the young players that got exposed to this. And, hey, man, Jared Jones, he's a big reason we're here. That's a borderline freshman All-American. Paxton Kling's a superstar. I mean, in the making. Thatcher Hurd. I mean, every guy that pitched tonight might be back next year. The Wake game. All those guys might be back next year. And we got some work to do. And hopefully the time lost, on the road. That's about as good as endorsement as you can come up with of what took place over here the last 2 weeks.
And that was head coach Jay Johnson talking about his team and the 7th national championship LSU brought back in baseball. But, man, you heard right there from Coach Jay Johnson at the very end talking about the lost time on the road, spent in Omaha playing games, this time that's taken away from recruiting. but there's really no better advertising than taking home that national championship.
LSU is going to be so hot. I'll tell you what, LSU's baseball recruiting is going to be as hot as this hot wave that we are having right now. That is how hot LSU baseball is. Congratulations to Coach Johnson. He legitimately is what you want in a representative of this state. And let me just say this real quick. Kudos to those LSU fans. What is it about the state of Louisiana? We're 48th, 49th, and 50th and everything damn important. But the way we live life and the way we wear our personality, our emotions, all our thoughts, our athletics, we live vicariously through them because Louisiana people want to be top 5, want to be top 10. And look what they do to Omaha. They go, they drink, they party, they dance, they love life, they eat, they spend money, they tip. You can say, and I'm going to sound like Clarence Buggs about the USA, you can say a lot of things about Louisiana, Baton Rouge, and this state as a whole, but they don't make them like Louisiana. And kudos to Jay Johnson to finally realize when you go to Omaha, Coach, you are going to have a home field advantage. That sounded about like 90-10 LSU to Florida. Kudos to you, Coach, and don't forget, the more you get, the more people want. So one thing about it, this guy never takes a minute off. I guarantee you Jay Johnson is working right now as we speak. Lining up recruits to come in and play for LSU.
Last break of this episode of Tigers Roar. We'll come back and put a pretty little bow on it. Don't forget, check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. If you missed anything in this episode of Tigers Roar or any episodes in the past, go check out our YouTube page. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. One more break. We'll come back and wrap it up. And you are watching Tigers Roar.
Taste the feeling.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, gang. Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Come see the all-new Mazda CX-90, now on sale at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
Tomorrow. And we continue here on Tigers Roar. Don't forget, if you missed anything in this episode of Tigers Roar, go check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We're talking about College World Series, LSU taking home their 7th national championship in baseball, making it 11 titles for LSU. But, man, I'd like to say, I've been alive for all of them. I was around in the early 90s for Skip, saw Nick Saban for football. It's a great time for LSU athletics. And second year for Coach Jay Johnson, gets a natty. Second year for Coach Kim Mulkey, gets a natty. Is Coach Brian Kelly next, Budman?
Well, look, you hope that he's going to win a national championship. I do think that they're going to have a really good opportunity to be good in football. We'll start talking about that when we get into the dog days of July. Real quick, gates tomorrow at the box open up at 6:30. Festivities start at 7:30. Players will address the fans. Jay Johnson and everybody, I'm sure Skip will be out there, and a lot of other people. So I don't know if it will be the atmosphere of that parade that the women basketball team had, but this is something special. And yeah, we've been alive for them. This one is special, JP, because you saw that they had the capability being number one for 12 consecutive weeks. Yep. Then they had a bump in the road, and then let's give Coach Johnson credit. He made all of the right decisions down the stretch. And look, this is not something you throw up against the wall. Very organized, every I dotted, T crossed. Couldn't happen to a greater coach and program. And now we live to talk more about what's in the future. But I would imagine LSU baseball will start picking up commitments and transfer portal acquisitions here very, very quickly.
Not to put you on a spot, Bud, man, Coach Jay Johnson wins it in year 2. How many championships do you see for Coach Jay Johnson in the purple and gold?
Oh, man, I don't know, but I'll tell you this. I do expect them to make Omaha on a yearly trip. Jared Jones, a guy that was a big part of it, is going to start next year. Brady Neal, the catcher, he got out for the year. Nobody even mentioned him. What a great year for Milazzo and Travinsky. All those coming back. Dylan Cruz is replaced. Paxton Kling, going to be a great one. Yep. And look, you're in good hands and give Matt McMahon a chance. LSU basketball is going to be appreciably better in year 2, but he's got a ways to catch up with Mulkey, Johnson, and Kelly.
Yeah, Coach Jay Johnson is going to lose a whole lot of talent off this year's roster of national champions, but LSU baseball, not an empty cupboard situation, to say the least. A lot of talent coming back from next year, like you mentioned, the Budman. Coach Jay Johnson expects to make Omaha each and every season. I want to thank you guys for watching this episode of Tigers Roar. Once again, remind you, go check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We keep all the Tigers Roar archived for your viewing pleasure, so go check it out. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We shoot all the Tigers Roars here at Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. A great place to get something to eat, great barbecue at Old School prices. Come check it out. We appreciate you watching Tigers Roar.